Okay, so every organization has three major functions, right? Sales and marketing, operations, and finance. So I'm excited today to talk about your day-to-day, which is all about that sales and marketing function in that seat and what you do at Wonder and kind of how you got there. So maybe like just start with like, how did you get to where you're at with Wonder?
Yeah, so going back, really this has been a decade, 25-year journey. And to make a long story as concise as possible on what led to Wonder is I started an agency really young. I was 26. Did that for, I guess, almost 11 years. 2008, that's when we got crushed. But going all the way back.
At least we have Lehman Brothers.
Yes, at least we have Lehman Brothers. That's the name of my autobiography.
Yeah.
And he's kind of the guy that founded Topgolf.
My favorite one, though, in that little group is the gun one.
Yeah, put down the gun.
Put down the gun.
So anyway, that inside joke there, that's us with a kind of our local group of guys that get together, talked about what would our autobiographies be.
Yeah.
But yeah, so going back, 03 and 04, we were a heavy CRM agency, right? Before Google Analytics, before WordPress, and before Salesforce. Like we were a digital agency doing lead gen with CRMs that instead of queuing emails, they did emails, but we queued letters, like sequence letters, and we stuffed them and mailed them, every day. So I've always had this tech bent to how I think about marketing and love data. And I'm a really weird brain from both right and left brained approach. And but as I got into went corporate for a while, for a decade in B2B, really the lead gen engine was something that I became a part of. And where we struggled is you can't really generate leads for someone to a target audience if they don't understand who you are and what the specific value that you bring is. So brand awareness is a key component to kind of having the air coverage to have a successful lead gen program. So through all of that, we always focused on what's the story, what's the brand, what's a proven process or a methodology of how you deliver things. And then how does sales and marketing get really tight alignment? Because sales, all organizations, have some scorecard metric that has to do with growth and future based on revenue. And I always say that, revenue is the byproduct of a clearly defined vision. It's not a vision in itself, but that's the role that sales and marketing plays. It's like, we've got to generate revenue. And then marketing is there to serve sales. So in many agency client relationships, it's hard for an agency to help drive revenue when we're working with marketing and don't have access to sales. So kind of coming all the way around to Wonder, after 25 years of doing this, just really saw that when I was introduced to EOS of how much opportunity there is to, when sales and marketing are together or apart, really focus on the two halves to the whole and creating really cohesive alignment on that. And what does good look like? So that's what led us to where we are today, is working with mostly B2B tech organizations where brand and lead gen are key to helping, someone reach that 10-year target, but also hit those quarterly sales goals that you have on your scorecard right now.
So you talked about something interesting, because I am from the sales world, right? Led sales and marketing with the use of agencies. From a marketing perspective. And the marketing agency has a little bit of a stereotype in the tech world, right? Of like how that relationship is. And one is the work and the alignment of priorities to the organizational priorities, right? The second piece is like that connection of, are we all chasing the same things? Are we all putting the energy towards the same things? And so you being an EOS-run organization, supporting a lot of EOS-run organizations, how are you able to kind of tie those two things together?
Yeah, so I think it's really important when you have an internal marketing department. The challenge, and I have run in-house marketing teams and been a part of large-scale in-house marketing teams, and when there's no currency, right? When a salesperson says, hey, I need a campaign to do this, and they're not actually opening up a wallet and giving dollars. I mean, you have 10 salespeople and they all need campaigns for this. Then marketing is now reacting to what salespeople need.
Right.
And a lot of times, the sales leader themselves doesn't desire that. They desire a better way to access marketing, utilize marketing. But without currency, it's hard to have priorities. And what I found with EOS is when you have a scorecard now that has metrics for both, and you do the right planning up front to talk about, all right, what's the service level agreement expectation? Words have meaning. So let's make sure that sales marketing understands what the sales goals and objectives are. What is good 3 years down the road? What does the 3-year picture look like for us? Internal sales and marketing, what's healthy? Back up, what's the 1-year objectives and goals that we're trying to hit? And then now marketing is helping sales do that. And going back early in my career, one of my mentors, Brad Majors, talked about this idea of authority of the recent. And the authority of the recent is a marketing-led agency has a long-term view and plan. And a sales-led organization, I said a marketing-led organization. Yeah. A sales-led organization often can find themselves reacting to closing the next deal based off of how they closed or got the last deal. Right?
No way. Not
So it's like, Never. Hey, this worked. Let's just do that over and over and over.
It's so funny you say this because I'll like any sales individual will resonate with this because it's exactly what happens. Yeah. And you get to a point where you realize you cut out so much stuff because you will shed the stuff that didn't seem to mean something to that in that moment. So then I'm just not going to go through that next time. I'm just going to shed that. Yeah. And you get to a point where you shed too much. You're like, I got to go back to the basics.
You ripped their foundation out. Right?
Yeah. But now I got to go back and relearn and then do it again. Yeah. So
So I mean, way back, I learned this idea of authority of the recent. And then as I started working with clients and internally, that you just see it, right? Yeah. It's like, hey, we got to do this, do this, do this. And there again, without currency, it's hard to establish priorities. And what the EOS, VTO, and scorecards do is it now creates those priorities where sales and marketing are aligned. And it creates a much less reactionary relationship. So I think in my experience with EOS, when we saw that, actually there came a point in time where I was the integrator for an agency. We ran on EOS. I was already wired that way. So proven process, all those things that I'd been doing for years now had a home. It was part of our internal story. But we focused in a niche. We focused in higher ed. So it wasn't, EOS was not a part of our client base. And when I decided I was going to do my own thing again, and I remember saying, like, I think I could start an agency that's just focused on EOS. And I could put the approach that we have together and work really well with clients that run on EOS. And it took about 2.5 years, of getting Wonder moving before it really was this is exactly what this is. So I was a little late to commit, and there's a business between me leaving a business, starting another one, and starting Wonder. In that era right there, I was trying to do one thing, which was going well. And I was running it on EOS, but it led to Wonder. Yeah. And then once we really committed and we're like, all right, this is what we're doing, then like EOS itself, 9 and 12 months in, you really start feeling the traction.
I love it. So let's put some meat behind some of this. So Wonder specifically works with organizations really well with organizations that run on EOS or a similar mindset, right? And you put in the marketing operating system alongside them. So just talk about what does that look like if this is an organization runs on EOS, they have somebody in the marketing seat, right? From a leadership perspective, they own those roles and responsibilities of website and leads and content management and those aspects. What does that relationship look like? And what's the value there?
Yeah. So I think for us, kind of like EOS has the 90-minute meeting.
Yeah.
Right. The opening conversation for us is, what's the marketing issue? So if someone's running on EOS and they're engaging with us saying, hey, can you help me? Then the conversation is, what's the marketing issue, right? It's language that's shared, and you'll start hearing, them self-diagnosing, like, hey, this is what we have going on. So what we did is we took an insights approach, which they're getting something that I've been doing for 25 years. There's lots of different ways as a marketing agency to get up to speed on a client's business. And when I left the agency world and took over as VP of marketing for a software company, the first day on the job, I met the VP of ops, and he's like, you're the guy who's going to change our logo. And Cameron and I are still good friends to this day. And I was like, well, I don't know. We'll see if that needs to happen, But it took me, and I was very familiar with their space. I came from B2B. I was now in a B2B software side. Like they ran on Salesforce. I was deep into CRM and Salesforce at the time. So there was a lot of logic in me understanding their business model. But once I got in, like 3 months in, I was like, wow, like this is complicated. As a matrix marketing organization, we have 5 verticals that you're serving, multiple sales teams. So there was a lot of, complexity in that. And then 6 months in, I was like, all right, I feel like I've got this. And then at the 9-month mark, we really introduced a brand platform. So it took 9 months for me being the VP of marketing in that organization, every day, all week, to really get up to speed. So my joke is, if I ask a prospect or a client, like, how long would you expect it to be for a VP of marketing's up and running, contributing at their full capacity? It's like 6 months.
Yeah.
But how long do you give me as an agency?
2 weeks.
6 days. Right.
Yeah.
So what I find to be true is clients need 2 things. They need a smart agency partner who really understands who they are, and they need to be met where they are and get some stuff done that's on their plate today.
Yeah.
So all that coming back.
I was going to say, because they're like, this is a good conversation, because I felt that hiring in agencies, right? Where from the client side, there's times where it's like, well, we just need to get movement. We need traction here. Let's go. Let's get this bus rolling.
Yeah.
But from the agency side, you do understand that, like, you're trying to truly understand the organization and truly understand the values and where we're going and all those. So how do you navigate both sides of that?
Yeah. I say, when a client comes to me and says they need a thing, I'm like, we got to wrap the thing in the thinking, right? We've got to elevate up for a period of time. So what we call a marketing operating system is meeting clients where they are. And in the first 90 days, our process is called the next 90. But the first 90 days for all of our clients, regardless of what type of client they are. So if they're coming on for branded web or lead gen or media, what we do is we take the first 90 days and we dig in to what we call the first 90 insights. And we've got a sequence of events that we do that really helps us get up to speed and understand who you are as an organization, what creates, how are you different, and where the big challenges and opportunities lie. Mm-hmm. So we're doing that while also hitting the ground running with the projects that you have today. I've found that by being strategic and digging in and asking the right questions, and at the same time working on the things that you need, those 2 things are required for us to really build good chemistry and rapport. Absolutely. So versus hey, we're just going to meet you where you are and do all the things that you're asking for. Well, that's like going to the doctor and say, hey, giving me a shot in my shoulder, and then not asking why. It's so that we want to meet you where you are, get things moving, but also have that time to dig in and let our team, multiple roles, engage strategically to really understand you as an organization. So that's what we call the first 90. And at the end of that first 90, what we do is we jump forward and we say, this is what we've heard, this is what we've learned. Now let's talk about what 3-year success for sales and marketing looks like. What's the alignment? Like, what's the healthy team? Mm-hmm. And we jump out and do that 3-year picture for marketing and sales alignment. And then we back up and we define the 1-year goals. Mm-hmm. And we have what we call, it's a marketing activation plan brief. So it's the MAP brief. It is not the VTO. It resembles it. It's got, 4 columns on it. And what we're doing every quarter is we're taking that brief that talks about why now, and we're talking about what's going on in sales and marketing today. What's 3-year success look like? What are our 1-year goals? And what are the 5 key strategies from a sales marketing perspective we're going to execute to help us get there in a year? And that framework right there is adjusted every 90 days. But what we found is when we set that up and we show it to, when the client on the marketing side shows that to their leadership team, there's more trust now that everybody understands what's going on within the marketing activities. And we align all the projects or rocks each quarter to those rows and columns, to those columns. And that helps us know every quarter too. Like we have a client that we share who's just coming out of a quarterly, so I'm excited to look at that and say, hey, what's changed? And then that helps us realign. It helps marketing realign their priorities to what's come out of their quarterly, and also lets us align our priorities to how we're supporting them.
And this is magic in real life, because we share clients that this is actively working inside. Yeah. And so just to tie it from a top perspective of understanding is that as an organization, we'll have our leadership team. That leadership team will meet quarterly.
Yes.
In that quarterly, we'll realign on the VTO and we will reset our 90-day priorities. What then will happen in a EOS-run organization is the departments will take the organizational VTO and build their 1-year goals, 90-day priorities, which are rocks.
Yes.
So you're literally just aligning with that, doing it exactly how it should be from the marketing seat at a higher level to ensure that it's aligned with the organizational priorities and sales priorities and all of that. So that's where that bridge earlier you were talking about was like, how does marketing get involved higher with sales?
Yeah.
And also more involved with the priorities of the organization. So from a cadence perspective, that's how that runs.
Yeah, and where the trust is now between sales and marketing, and they're strategically aligned on the client side. And when I'm going back to currency, so what that allows us to do, right, is there is a currency. Like we're being paid for work. So then it allows us to say, well, all right, there's this list of 12 things that y'all have going on, right? You have a budget with us that we're working in. So these are the things that we can fit in there. And it allows the clients to then align us with the highest and best use that we can provide, because in most scenarios, they can't afford for us to do all the things that they need to be doing, right? So it prioritizes hey, your expertise is in this. Yeah. Let's get y'all doing these parts of it. So there again, it's sales supporting, the VTO. It's marketing serving sales, and now it's us supporting the agency. And within the fees that they can afford for us, and within the role that we play. Yeah. And we're not, with all clients, we're not doing all the things, right? A larger marketing team could have an in-house team. They've got stuff that they're doing, and we're helping with certain aspects of it. Yeah.
So that relationship can change based on the amount that they're allocating to the agency versus in-house.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then our guarantee is that we're going to get you marketing momentum in the first 90 days. By day 45, people can be pretty bored with the questions that we're asking, but we're like, hang on. Because once we get to that 90-day mark, literally the flywheel starts to spin and people start getting excited and seeing things. And then we really start, to take off.
Absolutely.
So we get that moving. But the other part of our guarantee is we're going to make you a mature marketing organization within 18 months. And that's another thing that I experienced prior to discovering EOS was if you want to do an initiative corporately, 6 months to figure out what to do, 6 months to do it, and 6 months to see if it works, right? 18 months is a pretty good timeline to identify an initiative or a goal, create the rocks and the sequence to get to it. So for some clients that don't have a marketing team, we're starting them and they're leaning on us a lot. But our goal isn't just do the things. It's to actually make them a mature marketing team in 18 months. So whether that's, the tech stack, whether that's the brand strategy, the website, I mean, all the things fit into something that we're trying to do to equip our clients to be a better marketing organization.
What I think is so powerful, though, is you do it from a timing and a priorities based on the organizational
correct
goals and rocks.
Yes.
So there's probably a checklist of things to get to a mature marketing team.
Yes.
Like we have to have these things in place, but you're taking it of what's going to be the impact right now to the organization based on the goals and what does that look like?
Yeah.
Which is really powerful.
And
so one thing too, I just want to open up is working alongside you with companies. A piece that I didn't really fully understand was going to be part of it that's really, really powerful is taking the work that we do on the VTO in the room and maturing it.
Yeah.
And turning it into marketing, turning it into better messaging, whether that's internal and external, which I know we have another podcast, which dives into this a little bit deeper, but I think it's important to note that it truly the marketing operating system, what you have put together, it really starts to bridge those two things together.
Yeah, and going back to why we exist at Wonder, I stiff armed starting another agency. Like I was like, I'm out.
I don't want to do this.
And so I went corporate for a decade. Then I came back to an agency, which was fun. And it's where I belong. And then I try to do something different. And it's just all roads point back to like this is my sweet spot. But why we exist is I love to activate brands from the inside out. And it's something that I got to do as an agency to organizations, that were huge organizations today that we were like, I call it flapping the butterfly wings. Like we help them just in the early stage of brand, define some of that language. And so for us, our purpose is activated brands from the inside out. And that the VTO does such a good job with essence. I think that's really an important term is like when you're doing your core values, when you're doing your purpose, like capture the essence. You don't have to worry about the words in your quarterly, right? It's like get the essence down, and marinate in that essence for 90 days, right? But when the essence is there and we do our insights, then we can come back with language that just fits, and clients get excited, and that's where the goosebumps start coming, right? Because even just that first statement of why do we exist, getting something super concise. That's not the old school mission statement. That's a paragraph on a plaque on the wall, right? It's just that language that everybody believes and can repeat and buy into. And then moving from this is what we do, and the who we do it for and how we do it. Like that's a logical step for us as a brand agency. Actually, let me retract that. I say as a marketing and media agency specifically because it's through the process that clients tell us they have a brand problem. That's usually what when we end up going through this and you have a clear vision, then it's like, all right, we've got a vision, we've got a VTO. We don't have language that actually communicates this to the world.
Right.
So that's where we really get excited about that idea that through the process, we can bring the language to it. We can get your internal team rallying because if your employees believe it, your customers will buy it. And so getting that language that just feels authentic and believable and ownable. And then from there, that's your foundation. That's internal. Now we've got a VTO, we've got a vision for where we want to be 10 years from now, but we have messaging that's relevant today and should carry us for a decade. And I think brand becomes this thing where it's like, we're not who we are today. We got to say this better, but then people forget about what's the shelf life of it. So we have to jump way forward to figure out where you headed so that we can give you messaging today that's relevant for that whole journey.
And I think when a lot of teams think of marketing, that doesn't come to mind.
Yeah.
Of this idea of we need to build this thing to last a decade. So where are we going to go in 10 years? Where are we going to be in 3 years on the way to 10 years? What's our goals by the end of next year? That's why it aligns so nicely with just the EOS system and our 10-year thinking. Like we have 10-year thinking in EOS. So aligning the messaging to last a decade just aligns so nicely with it.
Hey there. I've got a favor to ask really quick. So we appreciate all the feedback we get, people that are telling us they're listening to the episodes. And it's just cool because we do this, we're passionate about it, and we just want to let other people into our conversation. So Andrew and I love getting feedback, but we'd love, if you don't mind, we're getting close to our 999,999 followers. So if you'll just push subscribe, you may be our 1 millionth follower, which is our goal. Also, if you know someone that this conversation would be beneficial to and you want to share it to them, that would be great too. So again, we appreciate you. If you don't mind, subscribe, even give us a rating. That'd be awesome too. Thank you.
All right. So you've been using kind of two words, marketing and brand. I think of those as kind of one thing, but like you were very specific about that too. Let's kind of open those up a little bit.
Yeah, I think most people, there are definitely organizations who come to us and say, we need brand, and that's my favorite phone call, right? Because that they understand the root cause already.
Yeah.
But most people see marketing, when you think about sales and marketing seat, and it's like, we have marketing goals. We need help with marketing.
Yeah.
And I discern the two, where marketing is an activity, right? Marketing, the strategies, tactics, plans are going to change every year, different days, different timelines. Marketing is activity-based. Brand is interaction. So when we start crafting, brand strategy, that's core values are how your employees interact when they step on the bus, right? Mm-hmm. It's how they even see the bus from the outside on the top that says, where are we headed? Like the vision, 100%. Right? It's like, this bus is going here in 10 years. So all of that is brand, right? That's the interaction that we feel, from how your employees are showing up every day to how your employees are interacting with your customers and your prospect and even your community and new hires. Like all of that is anchored in the core values. And so the core values really create the foundation to a strong brand platform. And then we're creating a brand platform that's the messaging that defines and shapes the interactions of both your employees internally and the expectations and the promise to your prospects of value. Once they're a customer, this is what the experience is going to be. So that's brand. That's what everybody desires, but it is the marketing activities that now help us get that brand message in front of the right people at the right time. So ultimately, brand is the reason to choose.
Yeah. And just to bring this to life a little bit, right? We work on a team together, and their 10-year target is 1 million subscriptions.
Yeah.
And that took us 9 months to get there.
Yeah.
Of like, what truly is the thing that we're chasing?
Yeah.
And where do we want to go? And what can we all rally around? Because there's a lot in that. Is it subscriptions? Are we SaaS? There's some services that we do. So is it more on that side, right? Like, what is that thing exactly?
Yeah.
And it really started to hone in. And then it's amazing because there's that, which now gives us clarity on what our marketing strategy is, because there's certain energies and focuses there that are going to allow us to hit that easier.
Correct.
And give us more focus there.
Yeah.
And so you can really see this branding kind of come out of that. And then even the tie to the core values, that because of the 1 million subscriptions, it allowed us to even harden one of the core values of push possible.
Yes.
Because that's at our core, is to kind of push for that piece of it. And then the marketing activities that come out of it are these, the tabletop things and the
employee onboarding kits and all those
employee
things.
Onboarding kits, and even all the new office space that they're doing, and using that verbiage around on the walls and what that shows up as. So it's just really neat to what you just said, and literally just experience that last week with the team of seeing it all come to life is really, really powerful.
Yeah. And I call it visualizing the VTO. And that's, part of that is, core values are not just words on the wall. But when core values are correct, they're really powerful words on the wall, right? So knowing where to use those and how. And so we had the opportunity to upfit their full demonstration center, and the other thing with them too is when we talk about essence, they had a VTO, y'all were working, through from focus data VB1, VB2 to get the core values defined. And at the same time, we were doing our first 90, right? So we're going through the process, and we get to the end, and me and my co-strategist and creative director were looking at everything. I was like, we are missing something. And I just in the gut, like brand for me is gut. Like I need to get all the insights, but there's, we're not going to go do surveys to figure out if this is right. Like, when it's right. And I was like, we are missing something. And this client's name is Your Six, right? So they're a SaaS company in the physical security space, and they're veteran founded. The name is Your Six. Your Six means I got your back. And we got all the way through it, and we're like, well, where does we've got your back live? And we realized that it was the very first core value, right? So we worked that back in. We had 4, and we're like, no, this, the we got your back is the first core value. It's like we were founded on this belief that, we as a team have each other, and we as a team have our clients, and we as a technology protect the things that our clients hold dearly, and we got your back. And like that, just finding that, I think really going back to, something that everybody can rally around really helped anchor like why you named yourself this, which was actually because you had a value before you even came up with the name.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So one thing I want to open up is I hear you say all the time is this clarity and cadence. So clarity and cadence. So can we talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I think that that those two may or may not be EOS speak. I'm not really sure. Well, clarity is. But the what we're looking for and how we work with clients to have a really healthy relationship is one, understanding that it's a process, right? It's not an event. This is going to take time.
Yeah.
And we met with a client last week. And they're all the foundation is laid. They are super tech savvy, and they're talking with us about doing some really advanced stuff. Like they've built their own foundation, right? And then sometimes we're starting from scratch with clients, and it's like, all right, cool. We're really laying everything brick by brick. And when you're building that house brick by brick, there's a lot of communication that has to happen. And that clarity comes from casting a vision, aligning goals and expectations. But then also once we get this messaging right, the messaging itself should bring clarity to the team, right? It should help them understand, what the values are, what our position is. It just really helps everybody get tighter. And so, but that then comes with cadence. So just like EOS, 90-day world, I'm a big believer in the, what did I just draw? What's the Monday meeting after your quarterly?
Oh, the state of the company.
Yeah. So I think state of the company is a great place to really start thinking about cadence, because what's happening is as you begin to roll EOS out, there's a sequence of events to all the things, and you're working with core values and VTO, and you're beginning to roll that out. And that state of the company really becomes a heartbeat and a rhythm and a pulse, where we're not just, in my opinion, throwing up EOS slides, right? We're taking our team and we're taking the EOS thinking, but we're branding that ourselves, right? We want our team to see our message, and that EOS is fueling our vision and our meaning and our language. So having those state of the companies and having a rhythm to show that, like, hey, we're coming out of this VTO, here's something that's changed. Stamping things as a draft. I mean, your VTO is a draft. Your core values are a draft. Your brand platform is a draft. Because that cadence of 90-day cycles and living in that and trusting the process and going like, hey, something's not resonating with our customers. We have an issue. Let's throw that in. Let's look, where does that belong, right? And maybe they're like, hey, this part of the brand platform, we were close, but we need to change this messaging a little bit. So I think the clarity comes with getting in front of everybody regularly with a cadence, using your language with that quarterly rhythm, but also letting everybody understand that we're not looking for perfect. Right? We're looking for perfectible, and that perfectible may take 18 months. It may take 3 or 4 years, but it's not an event. It is a process to itself, and getting the language, surfacing it the 7 times, right? Especially as a CEO or founder or visionary, you're up in front of people and you're talking about it all the time, and you feel like everyone is sick of this.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But what you don't realize is Joe just started last Monday. right? He's never heard it. He's hearing it all for the first time. So, if you feel like that you're tired of saying it, you're doing the right thing. You're bringing enough clarity with enough cadence that people are hearing it. But you got to remember, everybody's on that journey, and we all start at different places, with both, understanding at the time that you were bringing these new ideas to everybody, as well as just growing your team and adding people to it. So that I think just that rhythm, that 90 days is so powerful in EOS, but also just in that internal communication to your team.
Yeah. I always say it this way. If you think of the best leader that you've ever seen in action, whether it's a sports coach, a manager, or an owner, whoever you worked with, is a really, really strong leader, that person is probably very easy to mimic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, correct.
Like you can get up in front of the room
yeah.
and act like that.
Yes.
And it's because they say the same things.
Yeah.
They're predictable in what they're going to say. They're predictable in the perspective they're going to take, because they get it. They get that leadership is about repeating yourself often. Yeah. They get that it's not about finding new ways and trying new things. It's like, this is where we're going. This is what we're doing. Here's our priorities. Here's the handful of rules we're going to hold for ourselves. And just bulldog, keep doing that over and over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, I go back to, this may have been 20 years ago, but I remember going to one of these leadership conferences, and Lou Holtz was speaking.
Okay, yeah.
And you always wonder, when a team's down at halftime, what happens? What's the conversation that the coach has in the locker room?
Right.
And Lou Holtz said, if you want to win, it's very simple, 3 things. What's important now? And he just talked about doubling down on any time. It's like, what's important now? Which ironically is the whole EOS framework, right? Establishing the priorities, doing the right things in the right order. But you just think about he as a leader. I bet if you were an athlete of his, you were hearing that all the time. What's important now? It's the easiest thing to think about. And if you're on the field and you got to play, what are you supposed to be doing right now? Right?
And he goes into that locker room and anybody could go up there and say what he's going to say.
Yeah.
All right, guys, what's important now?
We're down by 14. Let's talk about what's important now. Yeah.
Right? And it's the same thing.
Yeah.
That whatever reason, when we translate that into our teams, we take this assumption that the team doesn't want to hear that again.
Yeah.
And it's either 2 things. One is they don't want to hear it again because you don't actually uphold it.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
So that's a whole
very important thing to point out.
That's a whole nother thing. Or the other thing is we just don't think they want to hear it, but they need to hear it. They need the focus. This is it's motivating for us. Yeah. So it's good. Good conversation. So marketing operating system and kind of where we're at with everything. If anybody, what's the next step here? How to learn more about it?
Yeah. So, for us, it's, you can go to workwithwonder.com. That's our site. And, our just opening line is what's the marketing issue, right? Yeah. So if you've got an issue, on your, in an L10 and you're like, hey, this is something we're trying to figure out, I'm highly accessible. So if anyone reaches out, I'd love to just make new connections, talk EOS with people. But if you're coming in on EOS and you've got a marketing issue, just go to workwithwonder.com and call me. There's a phone number on there. Yeah. Email me, Jami, Jami, at workwithwonder.com. It's Jami as in Jameson. So no E. Or you can find me on LinkedIn. Easily. So, awesome. But no, this has been a good one, Andrew. I love talking about brand and marketing strategy, and it just fits so tight with the EOS. So I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to dig into it a little bit.
Absolutely. And it's just been great. I mean, now working on a handful of companies with you, seeing this really come to life, it's magic stuff. So I want to make sure we had enough time to kind of highlight that.
Awesome. Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, Jami.
See y'all.